Hey guys, so we've got the amazing Anthony Harty here today to talk some bass. Yeah, so where did it all start for you, mate?
It all started when I was about 8. My brother started playing guitar and he wanted somebody to back him up so he could be a guitar hero. So I started playing guitar. My fingers were too small, but I managed to back him up. And then I progressed up to bass when I was about 12, 13.
Yeah.
And my dad bought me a bass for my birthday and put an advert in the local paper with bass wanted spelt B-A-S-E.
Oh, really? Amazing. So what was the bass? Do you remember what it was?
The bass, unbelievably, he had this guy phone him up and he said, I've got a bass in my loft. Didn't say what it was. And we went over and he got this bass out and it was in a sort of a classic shape. And I thought, I know what that is. And he opened it up and it was a 60s violin bass.
Oh, really? Wow.
And for the tidy sum of £25.
Really? Was it a half note, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, wow. Have you still got it?
No.
Oh, right. That's a shame.
Like everything else I've had.
Yeah.
It's always been horses for courses with me, and whether I've been playing guitar or bass, you know, some things go by the wayside, some things stick around, and you know.
So if it's not getting used, you just get something you are
move it
going to
on.
use, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you start gigging quite soon after that, or?
I did, yeah. I joined a local club band called the Jaguars, and can you guess where they worked?
At Jaguar. So you were from that area, the Coventry area, like?
Yeah.
Wicked.
And we did a couple of things. We did some what were they called? The Scout, the big Scout events that they had. We actually played at the Cov Theatre.
Oh, nice.
During these Scout dues or whatever they were called. Then I started playing with a couple of friends, like a sort of a moddy type band.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So would that have been in that era, the late 70s kind of thing?
No, it was early 80s.
Okay.
82, 81, 82.
Yeah. So who were your main influences on the bass at that point, would you say?
Gosh. I was really into all the mod stuff, but I was also heavily influenced by all the new wave bands. So people like Graham Maybe, all sorts of players, Sting. But sort of going back, my sister and brother sort of brought me up on everything from Stevie Wonder to the Sex Pistols and the Beatles and the Kinks and all the sort of the rock bands. I was a big Lizzie fan as well.
Yeah.
And it was just a sort of loads and loads and loads of different stuff, which was great for me to get my ear in.
Yeah.
I mean, funnily enough, I used to sit and play along to records, you know, just moving the needle. Didn't quite get that bit. But after Joe Jackson did his first 3 albums, he did an album called Jumpin' Jive, which was all the jump jive stuff.
Okay.
Louis Jordan and Cab Calloway and all that sort of stuff. And I hadn't really sort of started to play like walking bass, jazz bass, really.
Yeah.
And I just learnt that note for note, which stood in really good stead for me.
Did it? Yeah. In the long run for playing?
Absolutely.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
So what was your first sort of big gig, would you say? Your big break?
Well, when I left school at 16 in 83, I said to my friend, I want to be a professional musician, but I don't know how. So just at that time, Paul Weller had just formed the Style Council.
Yeah.
And we knew that he was very sort of for the fans. He used to spend an afternoon a week writing to everybody and you know, replying to everybody.
That's cool.
So he said, why don't you write to Paul? So I got the first single. I had this little hi-fi in my bedroom and I could plug my bass into it, press record. I could play along to a record and record myself on a tape. So I did that, sent a letter off, and 2 weeks later he wrote back to me, asked me a few things about what I liked, and a couple of months later I was down there for an audition.
Really? So where was the audition at?
It was at Solid Bond Studios, which was the old Polygram Studios.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
In just by Marble Arch.
So how old were you then when you did the audition?
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I went down. There was Steve, Mick, and Paul in the studio, and by then I'd graduated to a satellite P bass, which my dad bought me, and Paul took one look at that and just gave me this Aria SB1000.
Oh,
just
right.
said, use this.
Yeah.
It was a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So I went back and they asked me down for another audition, and by September that year I was on the road with them. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what was that like, being a 16-year-old out on the road with that band?
it was a roller coaster. I didn't really stop to think. The only time we really sort of stopped and took stock was when we were all in Tokyo, in the centre in Shinjuku, and we just looked around us and we said, somebody's paying us to be here. It was like being on the set of Blade Runner.
Absolutely amazing.
And yeah, we just couldn't quite get our head around it.
So the rest of the band all young as well, apart from Paul, obviously.
Pretty much. I mean, Paul's said before that the tour bus was like a kindergarten back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve White was 17. Steve, the percussionist, was 17. So yeah, we were all pretty young.
Amazing. So how long did you do that gig for?
A couple of years. Yeah, I don't know. I started to feel a bit uncomfortable and I think there was a lot of different emotions going through my head at the time. It was a big thing to take on and to cope with. Some people sort of, can cope with it straight off the bat and just get on with it and progress. And I think that was the thing that, Steve White was sort of under the tutorage of like great jazz drummers and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was sort of on my own, and it was down to me to develop, and
Okay.
I don't think I developed fast enough. But at the same time, it was a bit of a cliquey setup, so at some points I didn't feel very comfortable.
Right. Interesting.
So I just stopped communicating, they stopped communicating, and
Yeah.
I just moved on, really.
Yeah. So after that Style Council period, what did you get into after that?
The next thing I did was a while later, in '87, I joined a band called The Truth.
Okay.
And we sort of, they started out as a mod band, and they sort of progressed to AOR in the States. And the album that they did over there, some guys from Mr. Mister and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The single off the album, we did a video for it, and it started to take off really big. We went on the road in America with a guy called Eddie Money.
Okay.
Actually, before then, we did a tour with Squeeze
Yeah.
on the East Coast to some college gigs. But the Eddie Money tour was mad. He's like he was like the American equivalent of Rod Stewart or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he was massive, and
Yeah.
we were playing amphitheatres just on a daily basis. It was
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah. After that?
After that, I did some session work, and I was with sort of in and out of different bands. But the next big band was Special Beat,
Okay.
because I'd met Horace from the Specials while I was with the Style Council, and we became friends. And he saw me playing guitar with a local band, and they needed a guitarist, and they were touring in America a lot as well.
Yeah.
So we did some great tours, toured with Steel Pulse, did a lot of club gigs, and they were really high energy,
Wicked.
really in your face. And then we got to tour with Sting.
Oh, wow. Whereabouts was that tour?
North America.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started in Washington State, in Seattle, took in all of the big amphitheatres, and played Madison Square. And
Did you?
yeah.
What was that like?
it was a bit of a blur, really. You don't really think. I mean, you know, places like the NEC and stuff, you can't actually see much
Past the first
past
few
the
rows.
few rows. But I mean, we went out, did sound check, and yeah, you can't quite get your head around it, especially standing outside it. Just the enormity of the place and the sort of, well, that it's just such a special venue, really.
So what year was that? When you did that?
92, I think that was the that was the Soul Cages tour we did.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we were sort of, Sting really liked the, you know, the ska thing, and the Beat and the Specials used to support the Police and stuff. So he was mad for us to get on the
sort
tour.
of familiar sort of feel about it.
Yeah, indeed.
That's cool.
But the audience were a little bit sort of, I don't know, they sort of sat there and didn't quite know what hit them, really.
Because it's so different to what he was doing at the time. I
Yeah,
guess.
completely. He was a bit more middle of the road, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
But
So,
I think we G'd him up a bit, you know.
Yeah, give him some energy. Yeah. Kept him young.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to see him later this year.
Oh,
again.
right.
Yeah, should be fun. It's always a good fun gig. So yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got the 3-piece again, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the old thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So after that, what did you get up to after that?
Well, I carried on with Special Beat, and then there was a myriad of different bands. Badfinger. I did a band in Coventry. We were playing around sort of all over the place, recording a lot as well, recording our own songs called The Walnut Conspiracy.
Okay.
And I'm actually looking at we've got all the masters with AI technology. Is it spectral layers? Something like that. Where you sort of take all the songs
Take it
apart.
back to stems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I'm hopefully gonna finally put them out.
That'd be good.
But yeah, I just carried on, and I think it accumulated to 2000. I joined a band called the Subterraneans, like a cover band, and then we got involved with Hazel O'Connor. And we did Glastonbury with her. We did an album with her. So it was just a sort of an ongoing thing. I was involved with a couple of two-tone bands. I did some stuff with the Beat. There was a two-tone collective. With then I joined the Selector. A way off then, about 2010, I think.
Yeah.
For 5 years on guitar.
On guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was with the Two-Tone Collective, and Pauline I was with them, and I was playing guitar with them. In fact, I played guitar, bass, and drums.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Wow. Not at the same time.
No, not at the same time.
I know you're talented, but come on, that's a big ask.
Just the two.
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
the
an
two.
octopus.
Yeah.
But we did some great stuff with the Selector, and in hindsight, I guess not leaving them was probably a bad move. But you know, we do these things, don't we?
Yeah. Gotta change it up.
So after that, I got involved with Badfinger again. We toured with like a 60s package show. Then I got involved with Jerry and the Pacemakers, and the Pacemakers was sort of like a band that backed a lot of other 60s bands.
Okay.
So all sorts of acts. Steve Ellis from Love Affair to pick one out.
Yeah.
Gosh, I guess that brings us up pretty much to present day.
Yeah.
I got back with The Truth, then that led to me joining 9 Below Zero.
Yeah. So is that what you're up to at the moment?
That's where I'm up to, yeah.
Are you doing much playing, much gigging? Or recording?
Yeah, we're currently out on the road with Dr. Feelgood. We did the tour 23, but we started one again the end of 24. So we're carrying on till mid-end of Feb.
Is that a UK tour?
It is.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of dates in Europe a bit later on with them, and lots more besides.
Oh, wicked.
So yeah.
It's good to know you're still busy.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Still enjoying it?
just about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the as you get older, some of the travelling gets a little bit tedious, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Do it for the love of it.
absolutely.
So what about the sort of history of your bass guitars? What have you used over the years?
Gosh, well, from the Hofner, the Satellite, I can't remember everyone, but I used the Aria because the Style Council had a deal with Aria.
Okay.
Paul was using a Herb Ellis, which was gorgeous, which he smashed. But that's another story. But I bought this. Well, basically, I was taken up to Tottenham Court Road, Denmark Street, and just by our tour manager,
Yeah.
and just said, "What would you like?" So I picked this. This was '83. I picked this Squire bass, Squire jazz bass.
Yeah.
That was that colour.
Yeah.
It was in the window of Rose Morris,
Yeah.
and I just said, I'll have that one.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, it was fantastic, and I really loved that bass.
So that would have been one of the Squire JVs. I
Yeah,
guess.
it was.
They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It was, and I tried a few years ago to get it back
Yeah.
because it was bought by the company,
Yeah.
but Paul said it had just disappeared. Gone.
Really.
Poof in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
But we were doing a gig in Manchester, and this local crew guy said, "I've got a Music Man, Stingray." He says, "I want to sell it." I said, "That sounds really good." And he went home and got it, and it's actually on the second tube. If you see on YouTube, the second tube appearance we did.
Okay. We'll drop a video of it in.
Yeah, okay. And I'm the one looking extremely confident after 12 months of playing, chewing gum, and I had the bass like this.
Yeah, of course. 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, like the rest of them, I sold that. I had many jazzes over the years, many vintage ones. I had 2 JD Supernaturals. I had the one I used with the Truth was a prototype Mark King, which had the groove,
Oh yeah.
slap groove or whatever it was called, funk groove.
Yeah.
And I took that to America with me when I was in the Truth, and because of the change in weather and the 5-piece neck, I'd get it out the case one day and it'd be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and the next day it'd be like that.
Yeah.
So it was just completely impractical.
Not the right thing. Definitely.
So yeah, I went back to jazzes, and I finally got into playing precisions, but with thinner necks, with jazz necks.
Yeah. So is that where this one's come from?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what is this? Tell us about this one.
This is not the real thing. I had this neck on another precision, which was really heavy, and I'm suffering these days, 42 years later, from playing. I'm suffering, and I'm going to see a chiropractor all the time.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine suggested this wood called Paolonia, and so I had a white one made with another neck, and then thought I really like this neck.
Yeah.
It's really thin and it's really pretty.
Yeah, it
and
looks great.
It's got binding. And
Yeah.
so I had another guy somebody who paints them, do the old colour of my old bass, and with flats and the
Lindy Fralin.
Lindy Fralin. I always forget that. Whenever I think of Lindy Fralin, I always think of Trini Lopez for some reason.
Yeah.
It's 2 names.
It is.
Yeah, and got it put together, and it's just over 1 kilo in weight. So
Amazing.
It's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's like a bag of sugar.
Lovely slim jazz neck on it and stuff.
Absolutely.
So is
yeah.
that your main thing you're using at the moment?
It is, yeah. And I've still got the white one. So I'm managing to keep hold of things these days.
Yeah. What about amps? What are you using?
I've got one of the new Fender 6x10s.
Okay.
And one of the Genslers. Yeah.
Enjoying that?
Big jobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, nice. So what gigs have you got coming up?
One in Hastings this week, and one in. We've got the 229 next Saturday, which is a celebration of the first Nine Below Zero album, which is like the marquee.
Yeah.
45 years
Really?
anniversary,
Wow.
and their original rhythm section are doing a 30-minute spot at
Really?
the beginning so it's the original lineup.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a few people coming on and off, so that should be really
Wicked.
good.
You still doing any solo gigs as well?
Few, yeah. I'm looking at getting something going in France with some friends, and just taking it as usual, just taking it a day at a time, and still enjoying everything I do. Really,
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming in, man. It's been really nice to see you.
Nice one, mate.
See you soon.